California is not a place or even a region. It is a realm of regions, each more different and diverse from its neighbors than any place on Earth. Listen as this podcast reveals the most fascinating facts and insights, most unknown, except by a few, about this most influential and consequential land of superlatives.
This is the new podcast about pre-Gold Rush California. Welcome to Digital Voices. This is Robert Mills, your host for this podcast. This podcast is a prequel to my earlier Digital Voices podcast about contemporary California. There, we talked about this amazing place today that very few understand, this astonishing land of extremes called California. As a Californian for many years, I myself learned a lot doing the research for that podcast, and it surprised me. If you have not listened to that podcast, I think you're going to enjoy it, if I do say so myself. And I recommend that you listen to it next because it logically and chronologically follows this broadcast and shares with you some incredible facts and stories about present-day contemporary California. Here in this podcast, we're going to have some fun. We're going to go way back to the beginning and talk about what it was like in California and tell the fascinating story of what happened here from the time the first humans arrived about 15,000 years ago, all the way until the discovery of gold and the start of what was the greatest peacetime migration in the history of the world. This is an incredibly fascinating period that most of us know very little about, and where many interesting and consequential things occurred. So sit back and enjoy this newest episode of Digital Voices and learn about California from its very earliest beginning.